This is MaxPreps Friday Night Live, powered by American Family Insurance.
Speaking of running around, let's check in right now on a game. We've got Wheaton versus Naperville. We're going to take a live look outside right now and check out with this game. And there's a lot of running around going on right now. Wow, 45-0? Not good.
Yeah, not looking good. The 6-0 Falcons of Wheaton North are in the royal blue and gold, and they come into the game against Naperville Central, the Red Hawks in the red and white that are 3-3 on the season, winning 3 of their last 4, but it doesn't look like they're going to be winning tonight, getting blown out 45-0 right now in the fourth quarter. And guess is right now Wheaton North is going to hand the ball off right now to basically start just running out the clock.
Steve, what are your thoughts on this game?
Not entirely surprised, Joanna. Wheaton North entered the game 6-0, probably not getting the same type of respect that some other undefeated teams in the state of Illinois are getting. After this game, Wheaton North's schedule is definitely going to really pick up. They have Glenbard North and crosstown rival Wheaton Warrenville South, so 2 big-time programs, and if they can notch 2 more victories and enter the playoffs undefeated, they'll definitely be a top 10 team in the state and certainly a state title contender. But they don't have the same history as some of the other top programs in Illinois. And so, it's kind of a case where they just need to get the victories on the field. They need to beat the teams like Glenbard North and Wheaton Warrenville South, and they need to prove it on the field that they belong. And, this game is a stepping stone toward that, and their playoff run will tell a lot about them.
Yeah, when thinking about Illinois football, you don't think a lot about Illinois football putting up 45 in a game. I mean, you don't really think about those high-powered offenses. You think about the cold weather, the ground and pound. You think about that much more, especially with like the Wheaton Warrenville South teams. What do you think is going to be the storyline between them and these teams coming up in the future?
Well, certainly, I'm not sure Illinois is known as a state that, I guess, traditionally likes to spread the ball around and, 4 or 5 wide sets. But that's not to say that there aren't some athletes in the state, some very, very impressive athletes at that. Ty Isaac's probably the best running back in the country. He broke loose for over 400 yards in the state finals last year in a game when the 2 teams both scored upwards of 45 points. Laquan Treadwell from Crete Money High School, one of the best receivers in the country. So, there are those skill athletes, those elite athletes. But that said, this is, in that regard at least, an atypical year for the state of Illinois in terms of that type of high-level athletic talent. It's a state that typically gets recruited more for offensive linemen. University of Iowa recruits the Chicagoland area very well. But again, Wheaton North needs to keep this momentum going when they face Glenbard North and Wheaton Warrenville South, and they need to get a couple wins in the playoffs because, like I said earlier, 6-0 against their schedule, there's not many people that are still taking them seriously as a state title threat yet.
All right, thank you very much, Stephen. Not a really good night for Red Hawks fans there. That live look-in that you just saw was brought to you by Play on Sports Network. But I know it is going to be a great evening for you, Mr. Steve Spiewak, because we have a new segment here on the show where we get to ask you, you're enjoying this, we get to put you on the hot spot, baby, on the hot seat, and we get to ask you 5 very difficult questions. And we like to call this FNL 5, okay? So you're ready to start with the first question, Chris?
I hope so. I mean, I don't know if you listened to that Thomas Tyner piece, but did you hear the Army representative in that? His voice. I mean, it would make this so much more dramatic if I had his voice.
Well, you can go ahead and try to see if you can go deeper, baby. No. Take it with number 1. Wait, Steve, are you ready? That's the first question. Are you ready?
I'm ready, guys.
Okay, so here we go. Go for it.
Hey, if you don't know some of these answers, you can pass it. Don't worry about it.
You can't phone anyone. Or
no,
Google.
Phone a friend, because I'm here, on a Friday night. So, question 1. Better performance thus far in a single game. Jake Browning's 10 touchdown passes or Thomas Tyner's 10 rushing TDs?
Well, you're talking about 2 obviously very, very good performances for a single game. I have to go with Thomas Tyner and his 10 touchdowns for a couple reasons. First, he was coming off a very injury-plagued junior season, and so I'm not sure what people expected from him, and there were definitely questions about his health. Was he ready to play at full speed? And I think he silenced all critics with that performance. Jake Browning's 10-touchdown game was epic, and we dubbed it the greatest varsity debut of all time, throwing for 10 touchdowns as a sophomore, making his first varsity appearance. However, as you alluded to earlier, Christopher, that Folsom offense is known for producing eye-popping statistics from the quarterback position. Dan O'Grave, Tanner Trosson, Jake Browning is great, but a lot of that has to do with Chris Richardson's offensive scheme.
I love it how you just called him Christopher.
It's like he's upset at me or something.
Just a little.
Steven.
He'll get you after.
Steven.
All right, Steven, here we go. The number 2 question of the evening. Give me a sleeper team. Who could win a national title this year?
So one team that is not currently ranked in the top 25, but definitely has the potential to finish near the top of the rankings, is Mission Viejo from the southern section in California, just north of San Diego. This is a team led by head coach Bob Johnson. He's been there before. He coached Mark Sanchez in high school. He's used to the spotlight. He's accustomed to the pressure. Also, Mission Viejo just received a couple weeks ago a few transfers from Santa Margarita High School, a guy on the offensive line and a running back that will contribute to the team's offense. And this team, if they run the table and they capture the Pac-5 title, it's going to be hard to deny them a spot in the CIF Open Division Bowl game, where if you come away with a victory in the Open Division Bowl game, where you're probably going to see De La Salle, that's a team with a national championship caliber resume.
Oh, man, already putting De La Salle up there, huh?
Taking chances.
It's hard to deny that. The Spartans are usually there in the end.
Hey, I'm not saying anything, but I mean, now there's the Northern California Championship game that got added this year, and they still have to go through, maybe some tough Sac Joaquin section titles. So I mean,
listen, you don't have to agree.
I'm not.
That wasn't part of it.
I'm not agreeing with him. I'm just saying he's already putting in.
You can agree to disagree.
De La Salle. I understand. I got to see De La Salle play against Mullen. De La Salle's offense, usually what happens is they do move throughout the year and get better and better throughout the year. And then when they get to the state championship, they get a lot better. Their defense, though, immaculate. It's very impressive. So, I mean, I know why he said that. I just love the fact that he already is putting it in. So, thanks, Steven. Anyway, we're going on. Number 3 on this question list. There's a big game on CBS this weekend between LSU and Florida. Who has the better recruiting class so far?
Ooh.
And why?
It's got to be the University of Florida. LSU has recruited well in state, but the 2012-2013 classes are not as strong as the 2011 class and 2014 classes in the state of Louisiana, whereas Florida has done very well with in-state talent like Kelvin Taylor, who had a big night against Derrick Henry, showed flashes of brilliance. Very good player, son of former Jaguars running back Fred Taylor. He's been doing it since his 8th grade year. You kind of know what you're going to get with him. He's one of the best running backs in the country. Vernon Hargreaves out of the Tampa Bay area. Florida's recruiting well when they're getting kids from all over the state to land there, beating out Miami, beating out Florida State. Probably the best cornerback in the country. He's a difference maker on the defensive side of the ball. So overall, got to take the Gators in their 2013 recruiting class.
Oh, Steve, Gator fans are loving you right now. You're really, really making them happy this evening. No, I'm not saying me. Here we go. Question number 4. In the state of Washington, is Bellevue the best team, or will someone surprise them?
I still like Bellevue. There's a lot of people that are really praising the Skyline team with the aforementioned Max Brown, who's committed to USC. They've certainly done well, but Bellevue went out and they hosted Trinity from Texas. That was a huge win, not only for their program, but for the entire state of Texas. They're undefeated. Their offense is rolling, and I do think that they will remain the best team in the state of Washington for this season. However, one thing I will say about Butch Goncharoff's wing T offense is, it's difficult for a team like Trinity that has never played Bellevue before to really understand and scheme to stop that offense. But I think Bellevue may be susceptible in the playoffs to a team that's more familiar with what they do, that has more film on them, that has more time to prepare for them, and can execute a game plan to slow them down. So I think it's possible that they get knocked off, but for me, I'm still taking them as the top team in the state of Washington.
Of Euless Trinity and how good they are, and you know how actually Bellevue beat Euless Trinity. My next question kind of goes to the state of Texas, and I am from California, so be careful on how you do this. But
you're already preferencing
I'm already trying.
You're already putting it out there. Go ahead.
Who is the better football state, Texas or California?
Well, I think our followers in Florida are wondering why they're not in this discussion, and probably Georgia as well, but I have to go with Texas. Two great football states that have produced a ton of college and NFL talent, but I think with Texas, I think football means so much to the community still. You know, that's not a cliche, that's not something that's exaggerated, and I think, you know, the amount that communities care for their football, I think reflects in the product that's put out there and the amount of resources that they invest in their teams and in their programs and in developing their student athletes. So I'll take the state of Texas over California.
Wow, I can't even believe that you answered that question, because to me it sounded like a trick question.
Yeah, I'll take the resources Texas puts in on $60 million stadium in Allen for sure.
But you definitely disagree.
But yeah, I mean, California has 4 of the top 25 teams right now in the state, in the nation, according to the Excellent 25. And they also have the team that you said could make a run at the national championship and be the sleeper team. So I was wondering how you were going to say Texas, but I mean, I understand. I understand.
Question? Well, you know what? I think it's time to head outside because it's probably getting a little heated in here. We're gonna let
taking off the jacket.
Chris.
I'm taking off the jacket.
We're gonna let Chris get it together. He's a little bruised right now by Steve. We're gonna take a live look outside, brought to you by Play on the Sports Network, and we're gonna check in right now with Bellarmine versus Archbishop. Right now, second quarter, and no points on the board, guys. No points.
Nothing right now, but the Bellarmine Bells in the navy blue. Actually, they're in the white with the navy blue helmets right now. Archbishop Mitty in the black with the gold helmets. Last year, Bellarmine made it to the CIF Division I state championship game, losing to Santa Margarita and the coming out party of Johnny Stanton, 42-37. Right now, Bellarmine is 3-1 overall. Their only loss coming to that team that, you know, my boy Steven spoke about earlier with De La Salle. And also Archbishop Mitty, though, as I said, they are right now in the black with the gold helmets. They are also 3-1. They're known, I'm a big basketball fan. Archbishop Mitty is known more for their basketball team, winning 2 state championships, the last 2 in the state of California. They also boast the number 4 recruit in the nation, a gentleman by the name of Aaron Gordon, who, if you haven't been able to see any of his highlights on YouTube or actually MaxPreps.com, please feel free, go on there and just see him dunk and rattle the rim. Steve.
And I'll say this: I may have selected Texas over California, but that doesn't mean I don't appreciate the caliber of football that's played in Northern California. I think for a while, outside of De La Salle, you know, I think people viewed, at least on the national level, viewed California as De La Salle in the north and everybody else in the south. You know, there's good teams in Southern California, and then there's De La Salle up north. But if recent bowl games are any indication, the quality and the depth of the teams in Northern California has dramatically improved over the last several seasons. And team like Bellarmine, team like Mitty, team like Palo Alto, these are all teams that are capable and have proven that they can win CIF bowl games and beat the top teams from the southern part of the state.
All right, well, thank you very much, Steve. Now it's time that we learn about another superstar, a Florida recruit. His name is Jordan. Share it and get to the game, powered by American Family Insurance. Your dream is out there. Go get it. We'll protect it.
To see more great videos and enter for a chance to win an incredible football experience in New Orleans, go to amfam.com/gettothegame.
And we will definitely keep our eyes out on Jordan in the future.
This is MaxPreps Friday Night Live, powered by American Family Insurance.